Okay, now we're ready.
You sure? Checking.
Not really. Okay, let's see if my computer works now, too. All right. So we were somewhere, we were talking about this whole mowing service landscape thing that's going to cost about $110,000, we might as well say. And we were actually talking about the fact that the sheet does not add up.
Well, it has too many zeros, number one.
Too many zeros in the cents column.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not supporting this. That's all there is to it. I'm not supporting this. I don't think that it has the appropriate backup. I don't think that it has appropriate amount of service that's required for these areas. And I'm just not going to support it. Instead of belaboring it, I think that we could have done a better job. So I will pass the gavel and make a motion. How about that?
Did I hit the motion button in time? Guess not.
You hit the motion.
Yeah, she's got the motion light on.
All right, go ahead.
I don't want the gavel.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have the gavel.
Go ahead.
Move to approve the award of RFB 2018-03 groundkeeping and mowing services of select city properties to Natural Designs Landscaping LLC and Walker Services, Inc.
Second.
All right, so did you push the button?
Yeah.
All right, so it's been moved by Vice Mayor, seconded by Commissioner Hanks, because he's very good at pushing the button.
He woke up?
And that was to approve, I can't even find my stuff anymore, to approve the landscape.
There it is.
I got it. To approve the RFB 2018-03. Anything on that?
No, I'm good.
No? Anyone else?
No, I'm good. I'll be Jimmy.
Okay, and I'm just going to reiterate the fact that I think that it's not enough service specifically for Warm Mill Springs and for our parks, so.
Can I said I wasn't going to.
But you are.
Well, we wouldn't expect anything different.
Okay, so as I understand the RFB, we pay for the services we request at these unit prices. So if we need more than 40, we have the ability under this contract as it's approved to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So we get to assess the level of service that we may want and need, and it's locked in. This contract locks it in to these prices, so it's not going to be able to go up unless we decide we're not going to do this anymore. So that was just a consideration, Mayor, that I had. I certainly hear what you were saying, and I agree we may find that we need additional services, but we have the ability with this contract locked in at those prices to add to it.
But then it'll go up in pricing as well.
Well, but bear in mind the estimate of the 110, which is two different prices, 110 or 109,000. That's a rounded number. It could be less than that, depending upon the dry season, depending upon how the grass grows or doesn't grow, depending upon the tree limbs and.
Unit prices are locked.
Right, right. The unit prices.
Right.
We
And some people that get a violation may decide that they're going to just go on
No,
their property
this
line
is-
and chop it down.
No,
I'm sorry.
no,
That's-
you're on
that's
the wrong
other
line.
item.
Yeah.
Sorry. Forget
Yeah.
the last part.
But that
Forget
same
the last
statement's
sentence.
true to them too.
Yes. I'm done. Supposed to be voting. I'm voting.
No, I'm going to stick with I still think we need to bring this in-house, so I'm going to stick with where we're at.
And we
Okay.
can do that. We can do
Okay.
that.
So it is 4-1 with Curacao dissenting, like that in third person thing. Reason stated. Man,
I tried.
stressful.
Tried to make you feel better.
And I
Okay.
thought that was gonna be an easy agenda, man.
Ew,
It was, we've had before.
you're so silly. Okay, so public comment?
Now, again, I
oh.
have to, can I say something?
Well, we got.
Are you
comments are
kidding me?
coming in.
Under
You
my
say
reports.
something?
How's that?
Under your reports? or you
Yeah,
wanna
I'll
say
save it
now?
for, no, I'll save it for my report.
Well, it doesn't matter because we have no public comment, so. All right, so reports, commission communication. Go ahead, Vice Mayor, since you're chopping at the bit.
I was just gonna say, you know, we had a 1 o'clock meeting start today. And, you know, yes, we are going here into 9 o'clock, so just over 8 hours for a normal work day, as this is our work, only time we can do it. And people are actually understanding that more and more when I have these conversations with
Praise
people. 'cause
God.
There's been conversation about our meetings should only be 2 hours, and just trying to explain that this is our work day, and we put in, you know, 8 hours or sometimes more, just like staff does, you know, that sometimes has 12 hours days, depending upon what the circumstances are. So this is our work day in the work environment. We cannot talk about any of these things outside of this environment.
I
So
will
just
say it's
wanted to-
definitely true when there's this many quasi-judicials.
Exactly.
Because each one of those are guaranteed 30 minutes
Right.
just off the presentation.
And the quasi, you have to give that due process part of it, so they tend to take longer, and we had, what, 5, 6 of them today? So I just wanted to share that, and also share that when people do reach out to have, you know, conversation and are expressing that, you know, our meetings are too long, more and more are coming to the understanding of, you know, what it is we have to do for a city that's 70,000 people, 104 square miles, and a lot of economic development going on right now in the city. So I just wanted to share that with commission.
Well, and I want to say that our hours were not 8 hours.
In a
Because
meeting.
I was going to say, because all of us
Oh.
were at
80 hours a
Sarasota
week.
County Commission this morning at 8:30 this morning. So it has been actually over 12 hours.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so,
And I was just talking about the work environment
Make sure
the public
that's
sees us in, you know, as
Right.
far as this is, our meetings, scheduled meetings are the time that we do our
Right.
work.
Because I've
above and
been-
beyond.
I've been reiterating the fact that while, yeah, great, we have meetings, but that's
Part of it.
only a
25%.
quarter of what we actually do.
Yeah.
And because, funny that you say that, I had a single solitary email that I think you all got that.
Today?
No, it was, last week when I
I
was.
don't know, but whatever it is, you
too
need to stop
tired.
bullying me around.
Listen, buddy, keep it up. I know your wife. But that said that I shouldn't rush things through. And that we need to go longer. And I'm like, but I'm trying to keep us from going to 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, so.
But in essence,
Whatever.
you know, that is the chair's job, is to direct and to,
Yeah, but I've
You
been
know, I'm
bitchy
not-
in the past, so.
no, I know, I'm
I'm
just saying,
working
but
on it.
even
He
when,
knows.
but even, I know you have.
That's true.
But
I
even when the
mean-
vice mayor was here, that was her,
No, it's-
her job, the way she
it's a
saw it.
fact.
And that is the position of the chairs, to direct the meeting in the way the chair deems necessary.
I'm working on the bitchiness, you know.
I've kind of gotten
It's
used to it.
progress, not perfection, man.
All right.
Anything else, Vice Mayor?
Well, I already mentioned about the US 41 Scenic Highway Committee, and hopefully we will have somebody that steps up for that, because, you know, going through much of the city, I think it'd be great to have a voice up there. The other thing I want to touch on is, I think it was last year sometime, one of the things when I was the mayor, I had asked the commission for consensus for was when different jurisdictions in, you know, the county, or even maybe Charlotte County, when there's elections and people are newly elected, the board had given consensus to have me sign a letter just welcoming them and introducing our commission to them. And it was just a regional thing that I thought would be good to do. So now there's been a change in mayor. So I spoke with the clerk about that. So once there was a change in the position, you know, maybe a good idea to get another consensus if we need to. So that was just something I wanted to bring up.
Kind of like what Longboat just did with us.
Exactly. We got the letter from Longboat, I think, continuing the tradition from last year of what I was doing and signing and sending those letters out, that it would be good if we do that as well. Just have a consensus to authorize the mayor to sign a congratulation letter introducing ourselves to that person.
Can we do that for any mayor from this point forward?
We could do that beyond the boundaries that
You know what
we
I'm
were
saying?
doing.
So that it's
Absolutely.
not something we have to keep doing every single November?
Oh, you mean
Tradition.
not geographically?
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
well, that's what I thought we did last year. When we did the consensus, was from now on, we were going to do that, but just for clarity, so let's kind of have a consensus that I think it's a good ongoing
Okay,
thing
so
that we do.
consensus down the road,
And-
and hopefully, city clerk, can you get those things and,
Yeah, we already have a
Okay,
letter
awesome.
template kind of thing,
all right.
and we also did it for our representatives in the legislature too, because we
yeah.
want them to hear from Northport, so that was something
Right.
else we
I
did.
think it should be, yeah, absolutely. So, Commissioner Hanks? Yes or no? Just say yes. Okay. Commissioner McDowell? Just say yes.
Really, you gotta tell me?
Yeah, Commissioner McDowell said yes. Commissioner Luke, yes. Vice Mayor, I assume is yes. You brought it up and I'm a yes. Okay, what else?
All right, last thing is, in the NLC and the FLC, I do participate quite a bit in many of the different activities that they have, and typically with the conferences and stuff, by being on the committees, we've had a lot of opportunities. Northport's been in the spotlight at the last conference. I was on one of the guest panels, and we really had Northport out there. I am terming out in November, and so I'm passing the information on to the city manager. There's an opportunity coming up for highlighting projects. They want to get different projects, like I did with transportation. I always talked about Northport and shared some things. So it really piqued the interest and the leadership there at NLC. That's how I got the opportunity to do what I did. And I think, for all of you still being involved in NLC and FLC, just passing that on to reach out, do those things. I sent the information to the city manager about the summit coming up, the conference in November 7th to, I think it's the 14th or something, the 11th. And I think we might be able to have that opportunity too, that if we submit some information about a success story that we've had, whether it's our communications and social media, the way that we're using that for solving crimes and just bringing community together, or some of the other, we have just so many stories we can share. And so I did pass that information on to him, and I just wanted to share that so you're all aware that I think these are things that each of you can do in getting more involved in those things and putting Northport, out on top.
I would love to be more involved in that, absolutely.
So I did pass the information on
Yeah.
to city manager there's a tight deadline for the one coming up in April. It's an April deadline to maybe have staff look at some projects, and city manager, I think you're already starting the ball rolling with that one.
Yes, ma'am, I have our
Right.
communications team working on it right now.
Okay. And then should that, rise to the level where it gets attention, then hopefully whoever's going to that conference might be able to, be the presenter or speaker, because that's what they look for.
I would also love to see, our Kindness Community Initiative,
Right.
our Holly's Hope, the incredible things that we're doing with Holly's Hope. There's so many other things that we could focus on as well, that we're doing
Yeah.
through the city.
And one of the two boards that I sat on was the Youth and Family Council. And that's
Family,
one that
yeah,
I would say
yeah.
that probably each of you has an interest in. And they really do some very good things. There's a lot of information on the website too that could be utilized maybe here in the city, as well as the transportation one. So I just wanted to share that because I'm just, it's kind of interesting when I see these things like, oops, I can't do that anymore. And wanted to make sure that you all have the information you need to keep that going. Because Northport really does have a
Absolutely
strong
needs to sit in that
place
seat.
and
Yeah.
keep it going,
Couldn't agree
keep that
more.
momentum, keep us out there.
I would love to sit on that youth and family counseling committee.
Okay.
I don't know how. I know that I tried getting on the board last year.
Okay.
And they said it had to be through Florida League. And I think it was a timing issue. So if you can reach out to me on how.
Absolutely.
we
I mean,
do
that's
that.
not a voting issue or anything. I'll
Right.
make sure that I'm passing on the information. I can copy Patsy on that as well, so you all have it. And the transportation one, what is going on right now, a lot is going on with the new technology, autonomous vehicles, and I sit on a subcommittee there with that. So if anybody has an interest, in transportation, that I would just encourage you. What you have to do is participate in the meetings. They have 2 conferences a year, well, actually 3. I've never been able to make the one because we're always in budget hearings at that time. But you participate by phone in the subcommittee meetings. That happen too. So if anybody needs, I'll make sure that I'm getting the information out.
Yeah.
But we are a member of National League of Cities, and I've done my best over the 8 years to maximize the exposure, because that's really what it's about, is the networking and maximizing, putting that membership money basically to work. And
I've mentioned it before, but going to these conferences, that's what I've noticed. And thank you
You're
for doing what you have done and putting Northport out and going that extra 10 miles, not just 1 mile, 10 miles for our city, and the compassion that you carry. Man, you are so respected, noted. I mean, just thank you for that
Thank
torch
you.
that you've carried for the city. It's greatly appreciated.
Well, I wanted
and
to-
it's noted and noticed.
I also want to add that the more of us that are involved in not only the National League, but the Florida League, the more clout and the more that they see us as a formidable city.
We are highly respected. People are reaching out, like many times I'll mention the programs that our staff does, so they'll reach out to our staff just to get different ideas, different ordinances or policies that we've done and implemented. So we're really a role model. It's taken many years to get there. And I think, at least over the past 8 years, I've been the most active to the commissions before you folks, and I see the interest that you all have. And the reason I'm bringing this up now, because it's April, is I don't want to wait till November till I'm not here anymore. So I think it's important for that transition, and that's why I'm, making a point to bring it up to you all now.
Excellent point.
So-
Okay,
So I just
move on.
wanted, that's it. I'm
Good
done.
job.
Yeah.
You done?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Luke?
I had mentioned the Census 2020 in the last meeting, said I'd bring it up later, because we've already been in a meeting for over 8 hours. I am going to pass that one again until another point in time. We had a discussion on War Mineral Springs, and something that I wanted to pass out because I had some people wonder which P3 company I had spoken with or others had spoken with. So I just want to make it publicly known that it was Core Construction, so that if somebody wanted to look that up, and P3 means public-private partnerships, for those who had questioned those types of things. We talked about Morgan Center tonight and the parking and that type of stuff around for the pool. I went into a business earlier today, and the person across the counter was talking about kind of the poor reputation that Morgan Center is getting because of some of the incidences that have been going on. I don't know all the ins and outs of what just happened a couple of days ago, but just to bring it to our attention that the public has some concern toward maybe the safety or that of that center, so maybe we can look at that as a city.
Can we not skip that, but as an update, we have a police officer that's there, correct? There has been things that have been accomplished by the city manager
Good.
to make sure that it's a safe environment. Yesterday's event was a accident. It had nothing to do with violence of any sort. I'm there very, very too often, actually, and the violence and the bad reputation, I don't understand where it comes from, because, you know, the bottom line is that there's a lot of kids that hang out there, and so is that what's kind of bringing this thought process that it's a bad place because of the
What was
preconceived
told,
notions?
yeah,
you know?
what was told to me was it was things spoken of by the teenagers that go there. And so but if things have been being addressed, if there's officers, you know, going
Can
there.
we just address that real quick for a
Yes.
second?
Please.
What happened last night briefly? It's still ongoing, but I'll ask our interim chief of police.
ICOP.
Sorry. But if he can give you a little bit, the presence we do have there on an ongoing basis, and also a little bit about what happened last night, that, as the mayor stated, it was an accident, was an isolated incident, not a
Violent offense of any
matter of fact, it
sort.
was an off-duty police officer that was involved, but not one of ours.
Commission Interim Chief Chris Morales. Again, just like the city manager said, that was an isolated incident, off-duty officer. It's still ongoing ongoing investigation currently with our agency, and of course the city of Sarasota is doing their own as well in conjunction with ours. I can tell you this. Our patrol officers are more frequently in the Morgan Center. I know during their unencumbered times, which means their reports are not going, they actually drive in there, park their cars in there, doing the reports. They're getting out, walking into the facilities there at the Morgan Center. And believe it or not, this week, I have about 26 SWAT members from North Carolina, Georgia, and the state of Florida all there taking a National Tactical Officer Association leadership course there. So that place for this whole week, telling Director Fundheller that this is probably the safest building for the next week, and then we have this little accident happen with
Yeah, right?
the road, so I can't win. City manager and I are working on some ideas on how we can make something there more of a permanent there, because we do start to see that it is an attraction for the kids to go there.
That was a whole point in building it, but
Right.
Well, it's
okay.
bringing it's attracting, when I say just not the students, but a meeting and gathering for other circumstances or instances where the kids like to meet to make, I should say, probably some poor choices or decisions on their part as
nicely said.
teenagers. So with that, we are responding to that. We're seeing that, and we're working together to resolve this fairly quickly.
And that might be something, as this aquatic center gets built, we may need to look at too, because that's going to
Is
bring.
your thingy on? Okay.
Because that's going to bring a lot more,
Exactly.
a lot more people wanting to come and hang out, not just from our city, but the surrounding area. So it might be something we need to consider too, as far as the security or something like that. Just having a presence of someone.
That's exactly where my mind was headed.
I agree, and furthermore, I would love to, well, I'll expand on that when it comes to my comments, because I think that there's a couple of things that we can do there on a social side of things that would alleviate some of that, but I'll get to that when it's my turn. So,
I have one last.
go ahead. Thank you,
Thank you.
ICOP.
I think most of us have seen some of the reporting of the school board meeting that happened just the last
What
week.
happened?
I actually attended that meeting and witnessed the majority of it. But in some of the reporting, I was a little concerned because it was stating that all of the cities had made a decision to go against the agreement of the 50-50 also. And I do not remember this commission talking about that subject whatsoever. So I was a little concerned that something was being reported in the public that we had
Discussed.
No discussion.
discussed and were turning away from the agreement that we had with them.
I believe the report was that the police chiefs, as well as the sheriff, were all in the same criteria that it would not be a shared cost anymore, and that we have not had that conversation yet until budget, and so maybe the city manager can
Because
have
I
it.
remembered it stating that all of the cities.
I think it was, if you read before that, it talked about chiefs and sheriff
Are you talking about the state law? that-
requirement,
that-
yes.
Okay, because
They're
that,
getting money.
that was something that happened subsequent to any conversation we've had about putting
Correct.
SROs, so.
Correct,
is
which
that-
wouldn't
that's
come
not
until
That's what I'm
budget.
referring to. The sheriff had, at one point decided, and that's what a lot of this controversy and what you read in the papers going on, had stated that he was going to break the agreement that they had of the 50-50 and wanted the school board to pay for all of the resource officers. And what was in the paper that I read was that all of the cities had jumped on board with that, stating that they would not do the 50-50.
And that conversation is in reference to the August budget, which we haven't
wait, I wasn't on camera, was I?
talked about, but
Well, it made it
city,
sound as though we had, as a commission,
well,
stated something, and
we're talking about the paper.
All right.
City manager?
Thank you, Mayor. That is actually the thing one of the things I was going to talk about tonight. What was in the paper is that the city managers and the sheriff were proposing, because of the state law that requires the school boards to fund these, and the school boards are receiving money for this, the law puts 100% of that on the school boards.
Right.
Now, nobody, including the sheriff, is breaking the current agreement. The current
Correct.
agreement ends at the end of this school year. It ends June 30th. They are only one-year agreements. There are different funding proposals for every one of the entities. We currently split for the middle school and high schools 50%. We fund 100% right now of one of the elementary schools.
Right. Even though we asked for it.
Yep.
No, we asked
50-50.
for it. Some of the other entities get a higher percentage.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the city of Sarasota has a much higher percentage than we
70%.
do. The sheriff's office has a different one as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
and prior to this law that was just enacted, it didn't say who had to do it. So an agreement was reached. I can tell you that the city of Northport tried to get the same thing the city of Sarasota had a few years ago and was basically told no. Like I said, the new state law establishes who's responsible to provide the security, how they provide that, whether it be through school resource officers of the city, whether it be through the sheriff's department, or whether it be from a private entity, is up to the school board. But the responsibility is theirs, and they are getting funding. It's not going to cover 100%, and by no
No.
means should I ever get quoted to saying the money they got is going to cover 100% of it.
But they also got a renewal on their millage increase.
Had their millage increase
Which,
improved.
if I remember correctly, also stated safety as one of the reasons why you should pass them.
And there were a bunch of reasons. So the proposal that all of the city managers and the sheriffs were saying was 100%, because the law defines it as their responsibility. I can tell you, because I told him I would tell you all this, Dr. Bowden proposed that we have 50% of all of them for our schools in the city.
Sure would have been nice to
So-
hear that last year when we did it ahead of time, but
Exactly, but keep in mind, that 50% that we would have to fund, we're not gonna get any of the state money for.
right.
They would get offset at the school board level for a portion of that 50%, but we would just have to incur the entire 50% on our own. So since the law requires them to fund it, that's where the reasoning came for, that the city managers and the sheriff said, look, the law says you have to pay for this. How you get that service, we're willing to provide the service. We're just not willing to provide it for free. Yeah. So.
That's going to be an upcoming agenda item.
It's gonna have to.
Absolutely.
And, you know,
And aren't we doing something, didn't we just do something where we added more up till,
what they did ask us to do is they
Right.
have hired some of our at the off-duty special detail rates. We are covering all of the schools right now through the end of the school year, and they are paying for 100% of the off-duty rates.
and that's not the
Or a special
charter
detail
schools
rate.
though, right?
Do I?
No, charter
We're not
school.
doing the charter schools.
We're not doing the charter schools.
Because the school board has chosen not to even
Now,
look at the charter schools, even though the state statute requires them to.
And Imagine is working on, I saw Imagine on, what was that, Friday night that we had the first responders throw-out pitch. The principal there approached me, said he's going to be reaching out so that they can be included in the SRO program for next year.
As they
We
should
reached
be.
out to them last year and
They
weren't
told us
interested.
no.
Yeah, they
They
refused
told
to.
us no last year.
Yeah.
We reached out to
Their
them.
tune has
Yeah.
changed as well.
I just was putting that on the record.
Yep, no, I'm not disagreeing. And also, just so you know, the school board sent a letter by email, arrived Friday. The hard copy, I believe, arrived today, that they want in writing what it would cost for us to provide SROs to all of their schools. And they asked for that information, I believe it was by the 12th, so we'll be responding to them tomorrow of what the cost would be for us to have SROs. What an agreement ends up being reached will be a commission decision and a school board decision.
Yep.
But the definition of what the cost will be 100% of the cost, because that's what it costs.
In my opinion, it ends up costing the taxpayer anyhow. It doesn't matter who is going to be providing the service, somebody's going to have to pay for it. And more than likely, I mean, truth, honest, it's going to come out of the pockets of the taxpayers somewhere, where somehow money's got to be raised.
I don't disagree with that. The question that, from my perspective, and this is me, not the commission,
Right.
is if the school board pays for 100% of it, that cost is spread across the entire school district, which is the entire county. If the city of Northport pays for it, we cover alone 100% of our schools.
And we don't get the reimbursement.
We don't get
from
any of the
the
reimbursement
state.
from the
The
state.
county,
And we do
the
have
school board
students
is getting it.
that go,
And
come
nothing
and go.
says that we're gonna get 50 and city of Sarasota is gonna get 70 and the city and sheriff's gonna get 25 and
Everybody will get
that's
whatever they
another
agree
issue.
to.
Right. I have a big problem with it.
Just
So-
wanted you all to know that that was what my update was going to be, is where we stood on that and what, so the article in the paper was the city managers. It wasn't police chiefs, it was the city managers, the county administrator, or not, actually, it's not the county administrator because it's the sheriff that does it
Right.
for the county.
Right.
So.
Thank you for clarifying it. It piqued me.
And I also wanted you all to know why we started it at that point. And the law dictated it, that's where it started from.
Can I ask you a question, Mayor?
Go ahead.
Well, first of
If
all.
it's on this, it's a hot
No, no, no,
topic.
no, no.
But, okay,
Because
thank
that's going to
God.
be a agenda item. But I know Commissioner Luke had the floor, so
Well, that was it.
that was it?
Yeah.
Okay. What came up earlier, do we need to give direction to the city manager as far as putting something on a future agenda in regards to the improvement to the permitting processes and the permitting and inspections? Because we shared a lot of different concerns about that, so
That's a workshop, in my
that's what I'm
opinion.
saying.
I swear, that's an all-day.
Well, that's what I'm
workshop
saying. I don't
thing.
know if we need to give
Yes,
that direction,
we
but
do.
I definitely would want to see that as a workshop discussion item. Permitting and inspection processes and,
But is that something
Improvements.
we
have control over.
Thank you for the word. That's what I was looking for. Is that something we have control
I
over? Is that
question that,
something
too.
that the city manager and his staff have to control? Because he obviously heard us tonight, staff heard us tonight. Our hands are very tied on the subject. So as much as I would like to have a workshop on it, I don't know if we have the control to control
Not
it.
only that, we
Thank
have
you.
to remember that we have someone new that will be coming in August. I mean, we have our building director that's leaving, and then we have a new planning and zoning director that I assume is taking over the whole department. I really don't know. That maybe we need to give them time to get acclimated, and that we are more than welcome to put out what it is that we talked about tonight that
Well, I think that,
agitate us to the city manager so he's aware of it. But maybe we, in all fairness, should give the new person
Well,
a time to
and
review
maybe during the
it.
strategic planning discussions that are
That's an-
coming up very
Absolutely,
soon,
that's an excellent point.
that we can incorporate that
As a
conversation.
priority, yep. City manager.
What I heard, and as a result, my thoughts were, is having a workshop to educate you all on what is the current planning permitting process. It wouldn't be it'd be what we used to refer to, and Commissioner Yates, or Vice Mayor Yates would know, it's the level 1 workshop. It's a
Oh,
presentation.
God.
Here's what we're doing. Here's what it currently is. And it's the opportunity for you, as the mayor just stated, what frustrates you, what are you hearing? And then we can take that information, and at that point might be the time to have whoever the new person will be at least know all of the information, and then we can bring forward recommendations at that point. But I'm not opposed to gathering the information out, let you know from a staff perspective what the process is, you let us know what your frustrations are, and then we move forward with solutions.
A lot of this was changed somewhere in the
That's why I'm opposing the
comprehensive
educational
plan
part.
back in 2010.
Yeah. I think
Where
it,
it
yeah,
changed the process, and that person is no longer with us.
you're talking
so-
about the amendments to some of the processes and the
Mhm.
ULBC and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm still to this day not necessarily convinced that it was actually what the commission directed as to what got put through the process, but that's a whole other story. So I'm up for either.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be great. I don't know if that is going to happen before our strategic planning, but
That will not happen since your strategic planning is
No,
in
it's not.
less than 2 weeks.
right.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
But that's okay. It might
Won't
work
happen
out
before
better
then.
because whoever the new guy is or girl could be there to listen and,
Well, we can list it as a priority as we're going through setting those priorities and not go into the minutia of it.
right. Mhm.
But I think the workshop is good because we're getting the feedback from the public, you know, and what their expectations are from businesses and residents as far as these processes that they have to go through. And I just spoke to somebody the other day, and they're saying they're losing business here in the city
Oh, yeah.
because
Yeah.
of the building
I've-
and construction
I've had
processes, and it's just,
So
you know,
many complaints, but that's another story.
so you need a consensus? Or they-
Consensus down the line to have a workshop on the, well, an update on how it works, as well as a workshop on the permitting and building process.
Well, you made it sound like two different things, but I think your intent is one.
It's all together, yeah. Commissioner Hanks,
Good.
Commissioner McDowell,
absolutely.
me, yes, Vice Mayor
Yes,
Luke, okay, there you go.
the way the city manager said it, so that's
Yeah.
perfect.
How are we sitting there? So-
Yeah.
Okay, you're done. Commissioner McDowell.
Okay. I wanted to ask this at the last meeting, but it got so late, so you're going to have to indulge me tonight. When we talked about Price Boulevard and we had talked about bringing back the 5-lane road and also a access road plan, I neglected to remember to ask for pricing for those proposed plans. I know you can't give an exact estimate of what the costs are, but I think there's some logical way of coming up with the costs when you guys make that presentation. So I'm hoping that if we can give a consensus to include some kind of an estimate for those two plans when they're being presented, I would be grateful.
Okay, down the line, Commissioner Hanks?
Yep.
Myself, yes?
I'm
Thank you.
going to say yes, but I believe it was
I do
something.
too, but
Yes.
we're just moving forward.
Just making sure.
Okay, so we're all yes.
The other thing is we gave approval at budget time for SLA 185033, which is the citywide
English?
connectivity. I'm getting there. Give me a break. I'm impressed I even knew what that was. Citywide connectivity study, looking for a status update on that process. We approved it to be done, and I'm wondering where we are on that, and I don't know if we need consensus for him to send an
No.
email or something.
You could have asked that by email.
I'll have Julie get you an email. She's
Citywide what study?
about 10 minutes
Activity
ago.
study,
It was the north, south, east, west. I mean, it was what we've
Neighborhood
been talking
connection.
about for a year,
exactly.
but
So the
has not been
connectivity,
done.
and city manager, I appreciate that you'll send it to me, but I would,
I'll send it to all of you.
thank you.
Yep, okay, next.
I attended a Peace River meeting last week. I'm going to be working with staff because I have some historical questions I need to get answered before I move on to what I want to really talk about on this. So bear with me. I'm working on a few things on that project. Looking for updates too. We had given direction for Gonzalez and Stubbe to do a follow-up presentation.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Well, we asked for that a long time ago. And I know legislative session has been over, and I'm just wondering.
But they're both running a
Both running.
campaign.
I get that. I would like an update. If it's yes, it's going to happen, no, it's not going to happen. Some kind of an update, so it's not sitting out there.
I will ask them again.
Thank you. Did you ask them the first time?
Pretty sure we sent them a letter.
Could I have a copy of that letter, please?
Anything else?
And same question with SMH, their presentation. The Sarasota Memorial Hospital
Oh,
coming
they
down.
said no, didn't they?
I don't know.
Respond.
Oh, they didn't respond. There's the
Oh, I
shot.
thought I remembered the same thing.
It was SCAT that said no.
Scat said no.
Oh,
SCAT said no.
Okay.
It took me a minute.
Yeah.
It was an S.
Yeah.
I talked to Rob this morning.
Right.
Because he's now stepping in for a SCAT, and he's going to see if he can get something going.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Because I told him the response we received about having a SCAT presentation. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll be able to get something
through
going.
SCAT. Okay, so SMH, see if they will do a presentation
Send them another
on
letter.
the future of Northport.
We asked for a presentation on the hospital to
Uh-huh.
be here in Northport, and because Chat had a,
It's tomorrow.
no, Chat had a presentation by SMH. And we asked them to come to this commission and make a presentation similar to that, and I just am wondering where we are on that. This is a very, very vitally important issue in
I
our
don't
city.
remember that consensus.
So-
I do. We sent them a letter.
Okay.
And
Can I have a copy of that letter?
Okay.
And I have a whole boatload of a list of things that I participated in and did and went and saw, but I have to tell you, the one standout, everything was fantastic, but the one standout was going to the baby shower one that we had.
Oh, I missed it.
Blew
Oh, my
my
gosh.
mind on the amount of people that were there and the vendors that were there and the information that was there. I mean, I just was so extremely impressed. Kudos to staff and everybody involved with that. Advertising, everything. Great, great, great job. I'm curious how many people actually were there.
Oh, it was double the amount.
It was huge.
The city is definitely growing.
Was it
Yeah.
2,400, I want to say?
That's a given.
Exactly.
I
I
went
don't
to the
know how
baby
many-
shower. I just got the numbers last night, too. 2,400. Because I'm good.
Well, I thought we were all supposed to be equals up here.
I'm better. What can I tell you? I'm pretty sure it was like 2,400.
So city manager, could you get me the numbers on that?
It was
Because I
amazing.
just
It was
thought
double. It was double the amount that we had
That sounds
last
like it
year.
was triple or.
No, it was double,
That
Really?
was counting the
Yeah.
infants in the belly, I think.
right? No, it was double.
No, they did a fabulous
2,400
job.
Or
So-
1,400 or, there's a 4 in there.
And everything
I know
else that
there is.
staff did these past couple of weeks for the community. Good job, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Commissioner Hanks.
Oh, good.
Woohoo. Okay, believe it or not, I do have a few things. Holly's Hope last night. Thanks for the excitement there. Police department, because it was at the Warren Center, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Same time?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so our speaker at Holly's Hope was Janet and Janet from Social Services.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's why I know
Oh,
how
wow.
many. It's not that I was good. It was just they were there. And they were awesome because they talked about what Social Services provides currently, some things that they're working on. And, the group was awesome because there are some things that they would really like to incorporate. Homelessness is definitely something that's near and dear to our hearts. I'm going to get with city manager to maybe set up maybe a meeting with some contacts, and we want social services to come in just so that they're aware of those contacts that are available. So anyways, that was really cool. But on that token, one of the things that we went over was the new law. In fact, we pulled the new law out, and we're going to be pulling it apart because we have some action plans that we're going to be working on, because now that teen court has been accomplished, we needed a new goal. And one of the new goals is to get teachers trained in the high school and the middle school. And so utilizing the new law, we thought that that might be a good way to do that. But then we also talked about the Morgan Center. And we talked about exactly what you had said, that we have this group of children there who really need help. I mean, a lot of them truly need help.
They don't know it, though.
Folks, I just want you to know that within the last week, we've had 3 suicides. 3 suicides in 1 week. And while, 2 out of those 3 were young people. And so if you want to look at it from the last month, it's been 3 young people out of 4. So, and I keep saying, if this was an opioid issue or a heroin issue or a cocaine issue, we would be up in arms, the community would come together, and there would be, all kinds of things that would be going on to make sure that we address this issue. But because it's suicide, it seems like that it's not made the paper. Only 1 out of 4. And it's just not something that anybody's focusing on. So it's quite concerning. But my point is, having 3 out of those 4 suicides be young persons, the group has found it very, very important to get mental health access to the teens, to the middle schoolers. One of the things that they had talked about is that Teen Court has, and since we're partners with Teen Court has this mental health component to it. And what happens is that they have self-referrals, they have parent referrals, school referrals, and then of course we have court referrals, being DJJ, and some of those referrals have nothing to do with a crime or what they call a crime being committed. It could just be that Johnny is acting up in class and they truly need some sort of help, so they'll go to teen court and try to figure out what are their options. So, what we talked about with Sean and their mental health counselor, Tia, was if there was a way for us to maybe designate the small room in the Morgan Center once a week, that when it's not being used, the smelly room, that, that, you know, maybe we could designate that, say, just like we do with DeFi. You know, we do DeFi where every Thursday they are at the Morgan Center and they sign up new folks. Why can't we, on a Thursday, use that little room for those who have appointments through teen court, and be there an extra hour before or extra hour after for people who just need to talk to someone. And this is a licensed mental health counselor. It's not someone off the street. So I just think that it's one step towards helping our youth in times of crisis. And I don't know how.
I think that would be a great idea, especially if the person there is engaging
Right.
with the kids that are just hanging out. And,
Exactly.
you know, not because, you know, not somebody that just sits there and waits for somebody to come to them, but it is such, you know, as we talked about it, you know, it's a spot, you know, it's a congregation spot. And it'd be nice if somebody that was just engaging with the kids, just to let them know, hey, we are here.
Someone that the
And-
kids feel comfortable approaching.
And it may,
And here's the cool thing is that if it's the teen court mental health counselor who has appointments there, she's already there. And so if she spends the extra hour before or after,
socializing,
we don't have to pay. You know what I mean, it's run through teen court. So
Which room
that's
is this? That
the
you
stinky
thinking?
room. Stinky room.
Help me out.
It is literally directly behind the office.
Fairly large room.
It's not that big. It's.
Why does everybody know the stinky room and I'm?
I don't know if
Nobody
by
goes
stinky
there.
room. I don't
Nobody
know it
really
by
goes
that
there.
name, but I'm very familiar with the room.
Yes, the room that we had Coggin, yes, the stinky room. If you walk to the left of the desk and you just walk straight,
back.
it's that room.
Across from the
Yeah.
bathrooms, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Where they set up the health insurance.
No,
Yes.
I know where
Yes.
you're talking about. I
Yes.
never heard it called the stinky
Yeah.
room.
Oh, I say that because it's stinky now, because they have an AC issue. 'Cause,
Oh.
again,
After the baby
Again.
shower thing,
again.
that AC was working way overtime.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, okay.
Anyways, it's another story. But anyways, if I can get consensus to work with city manager on that, and of course, we'll have to work with Sandy on that, because I think that it's a win-win and it wouldn't cost us anything.
But
So,
it's an extension of their teen court
Correct.
services,
Correct.
is what you're saying, yeah.
Correct.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
down the line, Commissioner Hanks.
yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
McDowell, myself, yes. Vice Mayor, yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Luke, yes. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Next is something that I plan on bringing up during budget. I want to give the story, give you all the heads up. I am really, really, really going to advocate for a victim's advocate. The reason why I say that is because during my experience last week, I had poor Pastor Eddie on Easter Sunday till the wee hours of the morning trying to deal with 2 adults and 4 young people, and then doing the funeral and the wake and the services. And while it's not fair to him, it really wasn't fair to, not that he did anything wrong, it wasn't fair to the whole family, because we truly needed someone outside with stepdad and someone inside with mom. And a victim's advocate would have really helped that out. And I know that police departments all over have victims advocates. And
We had one in our police department.
we used to have a sexual assault advocate.
Ah,
And she specifically dealt with sexual assaults.
that's it.
That was it. But this victim's advocate would cover the whole gamut. In fact, I think there was 2 at one time in Sarasota County. I don't even think we have this, do we have the sexual assault person in Northport PD anymore? I'm not even sure. Because I know the one that I remember was long gone during my tenure, so.
Getting his steps in tonight.
All right, I got.
Chris Morales, interim chief. We had our detectives follow up on domestic abuse, sexual abuse. They follow up. We work in conjunction with Spark. Victims advocate. We have, we work in conjunction with the sheriff's office, who have victims advocates, and they use, believe it or not, they use through a grant our stats here to justify their additional position up there that do come down to help us for victim assistance.
So we don't have anyone that automatically goes to the house in cases like tragedy?
When we do, if it's deemed, we call the sheriff's office and their victims advocate respond.
Okay, so a suicide's not deemed a,
I was gonna ask, what is deemed?
It's
Yeah.
depending on
What's
when
the
you're there,
threshold?
you gotta see that, do they have surrounded by family, are they good? We ask them, we don't just automatically call them, we offer that service to the family if they would like to have it. Because otherwise we'd be, for every suicide, we'd be calling them down all the time, and some
As-
people
right.
would not,
And I would want
some
to be
people
asked,
would
I
not,
wouldn't just want
yeah.
you to send it
Some
to you.
people are very, Mayor, some people are very
Private.
private, so
would
we
and I get
offer
that,
that
I
service.
get that, but then I would have to say on the mental health side, most of them don't know what they're saying at that time.
Yeah,
They don't. Um,
But you can't force it on them.
No.
You can't, but you can have one there, and if they say no, they can leave. You know what I mean? They can at least respond. So anyways, like I said, I am quite passionate about this one, and I will go round and round on this. So
Well, you're
just-
going to bring it up during the
Yeah,
budget.
I was
stuff,
just giving
right?
you a heads up
Okay.
that get ready for the fight. So, get ready for the fight.
Well, I hope you
I
got a
got-
Ford if you want to go the distance.
No, I'm gonna have a Toyota by then. So I can go the distance without having to have a recall every 5 minutes.
Slowly.
Anyways.
Well, at least you'll get good gas mileage.
That's right. You have a question, or you have one more?
I have one more I'd like to talk about.
Okay, then 1 second, I have another.
No problem.
My very last thing is a huge congratulations to Vice Mayor
And
Yates,
that was what my other one was.
as we received a letter from the Florida League of Cities, and I will read it into the record. Congratulations, I am pleased to inform you that you have, and this is to, obviously, Vice Mayor, that you have been chosen to receive the Florida League of Cities Home Rule Hero Award. And isn't this your second year? Third year, thank you. Your outspoken protection for municipal home rule, preparing for and during the 2018 legislation session is an inspiration and a model for municipal officials statewide. Efforts such as yours are an integral piece of the League's grassroots advocacy and a key component to our success. It would be our honor to present this award to you in conjunction with the upcoming Minnesota League of Cities event. Mary Endenfield will be contacting you directly, blah, 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 blah. And a press release template will be emailed to you, I don't know why.
To me?
That's what it says, so that your office can announce. So hopefully, when you do receive that press release, it does not go into the file B, and we actually can put that press release out. So congratulations, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you.
And hopefully you'll have an actual thing like we did last year where we can give you something at the award banquet. And that's it.
I'll take it one step further. Last year when she received the award, I actually went to the meeting and where she received it. And hopefully that when we get the date and time and location of when you're going to be presented with the award, that information will be shared amongst all the commissioners, and hopefully we'll all be able to go up there for it. And maybe you can even have our PIO up there taking pictures, or somebody from staff up there. This is big for our city.
I agree. It's the third time. It's, you know, as soon as you get that, if you give us the dates, so we can make sure at least one of our communications team is up there to take pictures.
Well, I'll definitely forward the information on to you all, and thank you, Mayor. I definitely appreciate you bringing that up. I just got the letter today as well. And, you know, it's really been phenomenal. I've really enjoyed, you know, doing this.
Oh, I didn't say you could talk about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to share again that this is something that I see all of you and your passion for what you're doing and getting more involved, and really what that entails as far as them recognizing, and they recognize various different, you know, city officials, elected officials all over. But it's getting on the phone and actually talking with the legislators and talking with their staff during the session. So you get an alert about what's coming up on the committee meeting, and you follow that, and then you're making those calls and communicating and suggesting language and doing all of those types of things. And I really enjoy that. I've been doing that, you know, for many years now, and it helps when people get involved in it. But that's kind of what's involved in them recognizing elected officials that do kind of give it that extra to try and make some stuff happen. And I can tell you, this year was phenomenal. And we actually killed a lot of bills that were bad bills that would have negatively affected our city's operations as well as our taxpayers and just citizens. So there was a lot accomplished by the advocacy this year to, you know, let them know they just didn't get it right yet. So thank you. Appreciate
No,
it.
thank you for all you do. Okay, moving on to administrative and legal reports, city manager.
I only have 10 things to address now.
Start with zero.
We'll start with maybe just one. I just like to thank everybody that participated in the Relay for Life this weekend that all came out. I saw is at the ribbon cutting, and then fortunately most of you left before I came back to witness the unthinkable.
We saw
Have
the
the mop
pictures.
on your head or the wig?
There was a certain commissioner that decided to tuck $1 in my skirt. That was a first for me and hopefully a last.
Wow.
But,
There are pictures, so it, I mean,
I
it's.
understand there
it's-
are plenty of
I
pictures.
even put a couple
It's
boost
public.
collars behind them, so go ahead.
Lovely.
Yeah,
No, it was a
it's
great
public.
event. Our teams did a lot of hard work, and one of our employees chaired the whole event this year, and Tammy Jacobs did a great job.
Yeah, she
with
always
PD.
does a great job.
So I just like to thank everybody that participated. It was a great event, and hopefully next year somebody else is Mr. Relay.
You know, what would be nice is next year we actually allow them to put up signs, because that's what we used to do, put up signs a week ahead of time and not make them go through the 50-page special
I'm working on that.
exception permit, whatever the hell it's
What
called.
about the hair, though? You like a California Superman, right?
That was an interesting wig.
That was awesome.
It was a Lady Godiva wig.
That was it cut down, because when I purchased it, due to my extraordinary height, it actually came all the way down to below my calf.
Oh, my gosh.
So we shortened that a little bit.
Yeah, I wasn't lying, it was actually a Lady Godiva.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
And we chose Supergirl instead of Lady Godiva because I did not think that would quite be appropriate for her.
Same thing.
Not even
Anything
close.
else?
Nope, that's it.
Thank you. Amber?
Later this month, I'll be attending the International Municipal Lawyers Association Conference. So for your two commission workshops for strategic planning on the 20th and 23rd, Assistant City Attorney Golan will be sitting with you for
Oh,
those.
darn, you won't be there.
You'll meet
Right.
again.
But I will be there for your commission meeting on the 24th.
Thank
How
you.
about an agenda briefing?
No, because they don't schedule the agenda briefings with any regard to my calendar. I've
I
been
know,
told if
we-
I can make it, I can make it. If I can't,
We
then I
have-
can't.
We have already clarified that she has said multiple times she works at the pleasure of the commission, not,
But the commission doesn't schedule the agenda
oh, well,
briefings.
that's true, Marilyn.
Right, right. It's not like we're the only ones she has things to do with, so.
But as I
didn't
email every
come
time I
out
miss
well.
one, I'm always happy to meet at an alternate time with anybody.
Oh, that was
About anything.
nice.
She always offers that.
Oh, nice. Nobody will ever do
Yeah,
that.
what I did is.
Okay.
I can't make it. That's what I did.
Oh,
Patsy?
no, ma'am, I have nothing. Thank you.
Oh, no, you
Really?
didn't.
What?
That's awesome. Katie? No.
Oh, no.
I love it. Oh, no. And we're adjourned, folks.
Nice meeting, guys.
And now we're at 9 hours.
No, we are at
Yeah,
the 10
and
o'clock.
how